Hey everyone, I'm here to share with you my project life for week 3. And I had already filled out a journaling card for the week, so I was just inserting that in there. And I didn't really have a color scheme or anything. I just will pick out a journaling card and write on it because I feel like the journaling is the hardest part for me to remember the small details. So I just try to get that down whenever I think about it, and then whenever I come to that week, I'm just ready to go. And then that little heart card that you'll be able to see once this turns back around, that one came with the Studio Calico kit from January. And the smile down at the bottom with the little arrow on it came from the Glitz Wild and Free Bits and Pieces pack that I got in a kit through peachycheap.com. So here you can just see I'm kind of going through all of my little alpha sets. I try to keep my bigger thickers and my alphabets with on a smaller scale separate. That way the smaller ones work a little bit better with Project Life. And I do try to keep a nice color selection. I really like those alphabets from the Snap collection that you can get at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. They've got a lot of colors. They come, I think there's 8 different colors that come in a pack, and they all have the same font, and I think they're only $2.99 or maybe $3.99, so I thought that was a really good deal. So anyway, I finally picked the alphabet that I'm going to use, and I'll speed through this a little bit for you guys because I'm just working with the letters here and had some problems getting them off the backing and had to cut out the little inside of the E's. So I'll just speed through this for you, but you can get the gist of it. That I just chose a little zigzag pattern. I really like those squares on that card. So I just thought I liked the way the letters looked in those, so that's just what I went with. And I'm pretty sure that title card is one from an older Studio Calico kit, but I honestly don't remember, but I just pulled it out of my stash, which is something that I do a lot. And here I decided that I think it needs a little bit of color or something different, and I put on those little puffy star stickers from the Copper Mountain kit. And usually I only use my kit for 1, 2, or maybe 3 months or 3 weeks out of the month, but usually I just use them for 1 or 2 weeks because I don't like my months to look too similar. So I put the embellishments with my other Project Life embellishments, and then I put the cards in my stash, and then they just kind of get jumbled, but I always have plenty to choose from. And I'm sorry that it zoomed in a little bit too far, and I back it out here, but my setup is not perfect right now, so I'm getting a new camera soon, so I'm going to be working with that and seeing how that goes. And you can kind of see that I'm just playing with the arrangement. I had chose my cards beforehand, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to go where until I actually took out the pocket protector and laid it all down. And I actually found an arrangement I liked pretty quick this time. It helped that I knew that I wanted that smile from the previous page to be pointing at my parents' dog, the little beagle there in the corner, so whenever it's laid out side by side, you can see that the smile points at his picture. And that You Are Loved and the gray card at the top both came from the Studio Calico kit this month, and the other 2 filler cards that I'm using came with the kit. And those Jawbreakers just weren't really working with that green card, so I just kind of slipped it in there and left it as is. And that dog in the corner, again, he's my Shih Tzu. He's really dark, so even in the brightest light, pictures of him just don't show up good on my videos, I guess. But it was his birthday. He turned 6, so we had a little birthday party for him, and yes, I put party hats on my dogs for their birthdays. I'm kind of a dork. So that picture is just kind of detailing his birthday and I do a little journaling about I can't believe that he's 6 on that gray card here in a little bit. And here I'm just sorting through my little basket of washi. I love washi tape, but I feel like I have so much of it already, and I feel like I'll never get all the rolls used because there's so much on the roll. So I try to keep my stash to a little basket, and I'm just digging through that to find something to embellish some of the cards with. And here, this is something perfect to show you that I just pulled from my embellishment stash. This actually came in like an old Studio Calico Project Life kit, and I was just trying to put it on there, and I eventually decided that it doesn't look good. It just blends in too much to that gray paper. I keep wanting to use those geotags, but I just can't find a good spot for them, so I don't know if I need to paint them or just give up on them and put them away for a while. But anyway, I'm just using a little bit of this washi, and I'm going to embellish that January card. One pet peeve that I do have from Studio Calico is that I feel like their monthly kits need to be themed a little bit differently. You generally don't get your kit until the first week, the end of the first week of the month, or into the second week, just depending on how the calendar runs. And I just feel like I don't always have time in my month to use the themed items from that month's kit. So for instance, you might get New Year's stuff in the January kit, and you've already done your New Year's layout because that was a week ago. I try to keep fairly on top of my project life. I usually run about a solid week behind, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on how my schedule goes. So that's one pet peeve about the timing of the kits and the shipment time. So that picture that I just put into the pocket was a picture of my workspace. I had just gotten some new shelving for my room from Walmart, so I had taken a picture of that, but I decided not to embellish it. And I do plan on sharing with you some of my scrap room in the future. I'm going to take some pictures and just, update you guys, show you some of my storage solutions. And I don't know if it'll be a regular occurrence, but every once in a while I'll just show you kind of how my space works. And here I had printed out a picture of my parents' dog, and I printed it 4x4. I print all my pictures on 4x6 photo sheets, and then I cut them down. And most of the time I don't print off Instagram pictures. Frankly, I find them to be a pain in the butt to get the size right, to get the nice white border. And I love the way Instagram photos look. I like the filters, I like the size, but I honestly it drives me crazy to print them off at home. So I don't know if there's a good printing company out there where I could get a good deal and get the white frames and get 2x2s as well as 4x4s. But for now, I do rarely print them, but like I said, I like the way they look, and I especially like that I can mat them on a 4x6 card or a 3x4 card if I had a 2x2 Instagram. And I really like the way that looks, and I feel like it lets you have more room to play on the cards and add embellishments than just putting a 3x4 photo into the pocket. So that's kind of one of my goals for this year, is to print more of my Instagram photos at home, or at least cut them down to an Instagram size. You don't necessarily have to use Instagram. But you can just see that was my little bowl that I have full of just random little pieces and embellishments. And I was kind of digging through there, and I finally just decided to go with that January 2014 sticker. And that card was a little big, so I just trimmed off the edge there. And I'm just going to slide that into the pocket and be done with it. And there's my Staz-On ink. And I'm actually using a different black ink right now since I made this video. But I'm still going to use Staz-On for pictures because it never smears. You can put it on there and it does not smear on the photo if you give it just a few seconds to dry, and I really like that. So that's the new Picture Perfect stamp from this month's kit. And I just stamped it onto a white piece of paper first, just because it was the first time that I had stamped with it. So I'll just let that dry for a second and then put it into the pocket and it'll be fine. And my video camera is going to die here in just a couple minutes, so you won't see the journaling that I did. But if you liked this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I will see you with more content soon. Have a great day.